Flan.
Hey, Waf, what are we up to today?
Today we're going to nerd out with conditionals in data frames. Conditionals in data frames is one of two ways to look at doing row selection on a data frame. One thing we've already looked at in a previous lesson is how to use functions like df.head, df.tail, df.sample to do row selection. Today we're going to nerd out with using conditionals and looking at individual values and just keeping the rows that match a particular conditional.
Ooh, okay. So we're also taking a large data frame and condensing it into a smaller one.
Yes. So I think it's best to look at an example. So I have the football data set. I've got a clean version of it right here. And in this football data set, one thing I might want to do is I want to look at every time we've played a home game at the University of Illinois.
Got it.
And you're a big football fan.
Yes, I love Illini football.
How do I find home games here? Because I don't see anywhere that says home.
Oh yeah, it looks like, just glancing at this, it looks like the location, this versus at, these are going to be home, these are going to be away, and then anytime, it looks like anytime it's an actual, it says a city, it's probably going to be away too.
Yeah, or I think these are a neutral site, so it's not at either team. Well, I think the at symbol means it's playing at Nebraska, for example.
Yes, exactly.
So what Karle did here was really fascinating. She identified what column to use, and she said, I want to use the location column. And then she identified what she wanted to find an exact matchup. She wanted to exactly find the VS dot syntax. So to do that, we need to convert this into Python. So the first thing we're going to do every time we work with a data frame, and this will be the last time we do this in this type of style, because every time we work with pandas, we're always going to have had to have imported pandas as PD.
Yep.
But just for completion's sake, I'm going to go ahead and import pandas as PD one last time. This is only necessary the first time you run it in a notebook. So every time you have a clean notebook, you will need to write this at the top. But once you've written it once, you don't need to write it again.
Good.
The second thing we need to do is we need to go ahead and load in the data frame. So we're going to do df is equal to pd dot read underscore CSV, open parentheses, add the quotes, put the URL of the data frame, close the quotes, and close the parentheses. And then we can do df to just display the data frame. So this is a football data set. And Karle, do you have the football data set loaded up over in VS Code?
I do. I've been following along. So I imported pandas as my first line. Then I did df equals pd.read underscore CSV of the URL. And then I displayed the data frame. And now I have the football data set. So I can work with it.
Awesome. To write a conditional, we're going to use the syntax of having the data frame we want to work with, df, and then using a square bracket. And after having that square bracket, we're going to then refer the data frame we want to write a conditional about again. So df square bracket df. Then we'll use a dot and specify the column name. After specifying the column name, we need to write one of 6 different types of conditionals of how we want to compare this conditional. And then we want to write what we're comparing to. And we'll close the square bracket. So this general syntax will be how we fill everything in. So here, we want to first look at all of the home games in Illini football.
Yes, so that is in the column called location with a capital L.
So using the syntax, you look at the data frame df because that's where I've loaded my data set from. And then here I'm going to do df dot, the column name is location with a capital L. And then Karle, you said you wanted to see it when it's exactly equal to versus.
Yep.
So one of the operations we can use here in this box is exactly equals to, which is a double equal sign.
Ooh, OK.
And then the third thing we can do, or the third thing that we must do, is that we then need to look at what we want the location to be exactly equal to. And here, we want it to be exactly equal to string vs dot close string. And then I'm going to go and close my square bracket. So in doing that, what Python's going to do is it's going to go through every single row and check, does this row in the column location have exactly the string vs? So for row index 0, it does.
It does.
So we keep this row because it matched our conditional.
Got it.
For row index 1, does it have vs?
Yep.
We keep the conditional. Row index 2, does it have vs
Yep.
in location? Yep. In row index 3, do we have vs in location?
No.
No. So what we're going to do is we're not going to select this row, and this row won't be part of our output. Similarly, for index 4, Do we have VS in the location column?
Nope.
Nope. So we, again, delete this row, and this will not be part of our subset. But when we get to index 5, do we have VS in location column?
We do.
We do, so we keep this row. So we should see when we run this line of code, df at df.location is exactly equal to versus. We should see row index 0, 1, 2, not 3 or 4, and 5, and then several of the other rows after that.
Let's double check. So I'm just going to copy the code that you wrote, Wade, which is df at df.location.
With a capital L?
With a capital L, and I'm going to be very careful about that, is exactly equal to, and then in quotes, I'm going to do VS period.
In the quotes, in the square brackets.
That looks good. And when I run that code, I get 719 rows. It looks like we see exactly what we expected. Row index 0, 1, 2 are the first 3, and then it skips to 5. So index 3 and 4 both were deleted. So now I have a subset of my data. So instead of having all, I think it was 1,309 rows, I only have 719 rows.
Oh, so a little over half our games sound like they're home games then.
Yep.
So this is how we can do one type of conditional inside of a data frame. But inside of this box, we don't just have the ability to see if something is exactly equal to something else. There are 6 common conditionals that we can use in Python. So the 6 common conditionals are exactly equal to, which we just used.
Yep.
Not equal to, using an exclamation mark and then an equal sign. And then we can also do less than or equal, greater than, or greater than or equal. So Karle, what if we think about the football data set again, and if I get a new copy of this football data set, I want to look at only games where we really scored a lot of points.
Oh.
So what's a really great score in football?
I would say anything over 50 points is a lot.
50 points? Do we want to do over 50 or 50 or more?
Let's do over 50.
Over 50. So to do over 50, what we want to do is we want to find out first what column in this data set is this column of the number of points the Illini had in a game.
And I see it right here. It's called Illini score.
So we know the column we want to look at is Illini score. And now we want to, so if we start writing this conditional, this is going to be our data frame at df dot, the column name is Illini score with a capital I and a capital S. And it is one word in Python. It just kind of gets wrapped in this printout.
Got it.
So Illini score. And then we want it to be all of the scores where the score was, you said, larger than 50?
Larger than 50.
So we need the value of Illini score to be strictly greater than the number 50. We don't want to include the number 50, otherwise we'd be greater than or equal. So here we'd go through every single row, and we're only going to keep the rows where the score is greater than 50. So going down here, is 45 greater than 50?
No.
Delete. Is 23 greater than 50?
Nope.
Delete. Do you see any number that's greater than 50?
Not in the first couple rows.
We've got 50 exactly here, but it's not greater than 50, so we
Yeah.
don't keep it. And I see none of the first 13 rows having a score greater than 50. So the first column, or the first row I expect to see will have an index of 13 or higher.
Okay, perfect.
So can we run this on the data set?
Yeah, and then Wade, just one more thing really quick. So here you put this one in quotes and this one is not in quotes. Is that okay?
Ooh, great question. So here we have a data type that is a string. So because it's a string and not a number, we have to use quotes. Here this is a number, so we actually can't use quotes.
Perfect. Okay.
So because it's a numeric data, 50 is great. And if we did use quotes, we'd get no results back.
Yeah, so I'm going to go over here and I'm going to do df at df.Illini score. And again, I'm going to be really careful with how I spell that and the capitalization. And we want it to be greater than 50 with no quotes. And it looks like the very first row that comes up is row index 80, where we scored 55 points. And we have selected a total of, oh, it doesn't actually show me the number because it just can display all of them here.
Yeah, so there's less than 50 rows. So one thing Python's going to do is if there's less than 50 rows, it's going to condense it, or it's going to show all the rows rather than condensing it down. One thing you can do is you can do dot count at the end if you want to count the number of rows that have data for each individual data point, and it will give you a summary of how many rows have data for each individual column.
And it looks like 35.
35 times we scored over 50 points.
Yep.
So this is just a few examples, and in the notebook and on the website, we're going to nerd out with a ton more examples so you get used to writing conditionals, so you can take data frames and reduce them down to just the data you want to focus on.
And that was Conditionals with Data Frames.